What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Observant Lineman. I am your Observant Lineman, Uche Nwaneri. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the preseason. Now, the 2019 preseason just kicked off in the NFL. We've still got a few weeks to go until the regular season, but I felt like today we could have a good discussion about the importance of the preseason, whether it be for the veterans or whether it's for the young guys. Now, for veterans, the preseason is little more than glorified dress rehearsals. Obviously, you're not going to have your big name starters out there in an exhibition game, putting their body on the line with the risk of getting injured and then being lost for the regular season. That's not going to happen. But you do have your vets that go out and they'll get a few drives in. And over the course of the 4 preseason games, you probably don't log more than 40 or 50 plays at the most. So, what does the preseason really bring in terms of value for a vet? The preseason is really about getting back into your habits. It's about getting back into your habits of your regular season nutrition, your regular season training, your regular season film study. Those are the things that you use the preseason for as a vet. Those are the things that allow you to get that engine back running, get it warmed up, get your mind back into that same focus that you have every year during the regular season. You don't want to wait until the regular season starts, obviously, so you get back into that routine and get back into those habits in the preseason. So not going to find so much value on the field for vets, but you will find value off the field, in the film room, and in their daily routine. For the young guys, it's a different story. Young guys are literally fighting for their football lives. These 4 preseason games are going to be an opportunity for these young players to be evaluated by not only the coaches on the team they're playing for, but every other coaching and evaluating staff in the NFL. So obviously it's big that they go out there, they perform well, they show that they can absorb the information, play with consistency, and play at a high level. Those are things that these evaluators are going to be looking at, GMs are going to look at, scouts are going to look at. They look at all the players across all the league, not just the team that they work for. But with all that being said, I have a little story for you guys. My rookie year, 2007, I was in Jacksonville. And my first preseason game was against the Miami Dolphins. Now, training camp and the preseason kind of go hand in hand. And for me, and for a lot of young guys in the NFL, it is hell. Training camp is hell. Preseason is hell. There's so much that's put on your plate as a young player, as a first-year player. And these coaches, they know you're a young player. They know that you're not going to be able to absorb everything as fast as, the veterans are able to move with it, because they've been doing it for years and you're doing it for your first year. And you will make a ton of mistakes. And you will look like an idiot at times, but at the same time, coaches can evaluate and see if there's talent there. They can see if there is the heart there to play the game, to compete at a high level, to compete every day. For me, as a young player, in my first preseason game, I would say that this was probably one of the most terrifying moments in my young career at the time. I got put on the wedge as a young player my rookie year. Going into the first preseason game, I hadn't even done a live rep of wedge work on kickoff return. They put me on the wedge, the first man on the wedge, with the first group, and every day in practice, we would just run it against airs. You're not hitting anybody. They don't want to have any live wedge reps during training camp. Little did I know that the wedge is the most terrifying spot on the field. The wedge is truly a dangerous position to be in when you're on special teams. The wedge is dangerous. We win the toss, and I'm sitting on the sideline thinking to myself, man, if we win the toss, I really hope we kick the ball. There would be nothing worse than going out on the field and running on the wedge to start the game. Of course, that's exactly what happened. We won the toss. We received. I went out on the wedge. So here I am on the sideline getting ready to run out for the kickoff return. Totally terrified. Totally sweating balls thinking about how am I going to handle this? So as the ball kicks off and I'm running back to link up with the rest of the guys on the wedge, In the middle of my vision, about 20 yards off, I see this 5'0" brick wall, steroid pumping, Thurman Thomas face mask wearing brute, running full speed. He looked like he warmed up for an hour. He was sweating everywhere. I could see every vein in his arm, every bulge in his face, and I could see that this mother effer had no fear. He was running with complete disregard for anything that happens to him. I could tell because he wasn't even paying attention to anything else on the field. This guy was running in a straight beeline, straight towards the wedge. As a player, that's like standing in the middle of the street and watching a car drive full speed towards you. I was like, holy shit, he's gonna kill somebody. This guy launches from about 4 yards. I mean, he launches. And I'm just thinking to myself, oh no, I might die. And this guy literally smacked right through my teammate right next to me, collapsed his lung. I've never had a collapsed lung, but I heard a man with a collapsed lung, and it did not sound pretty. That wedge was my welcome to the NFL moment. I knew that the wedge was not something that I ever wanted to be a part of. So for young guys, there's gonna be a lot of challenges towards making that 53-man roster. Even when you're out there busting your ass and trying to make plays, it may all come down to the old, oh, well, we'd love to keep you, but you know, it's just a numbers thing. It's just a numbers thing. How many players have been told that? So from the onset, you got to kind of understand, this is what's weird about the NFL. In the NFL, and this is probably something that can only be said for the NFL, working your hardest does not always pay off. Hard work does not necessarily pay off in the NFL for young guys and for veterans alike. Just because you gave it everything you had doesn't mean anything. Sometimes it's just not in the cards. And a lot of young players are going to have to face that reality with the teams they're on right now. So until then, your resume is your film. And your film is your resume. When you get these preseason games, that's an opportunity for players to put their best film. So for these young guys, they got to keep going at it. They got to improve. They got to show improvement. They got to show that they're maturing within the program, within the franchise, in order to put themselves in the best position possible to make that roster. Now, with that being said, we're going to bring this preseason discussion to an end. Want to thank everybody for coming out and checking out the Observant Lineman. Look forward to speaking to you guys again. Peace.